I get frustrated, I get angry, I get all those things. I just don't stay there. I mean, I used to be there for a month or two. I used to live in depression. I was 38 pounds heavier than I am now. I lost everything. I moved into a little 400 square foot bachelor apartment in Venice, California, feeling sorry for myself. But I got so near the end where you think life has no meaning. It scared the hell out of me, and I developed tools, and I've never gone back there. I mean, have I gotten pissed or angry? Of course. People all think, you're not happy all the time, are you? No, I'm not happy all the time. But I'm happy the vast majority of the time because I'm doing what I love, with who I love, and there's a meaning in what I do. When you have those three things, life is pretty magnificent. I'm much more balanced than I was, but I'm still, I'm stronger than I've been when I can lift at 55 years old than when I was 27, right? I can run faster. I feel stronger. There are limits to what you can do as you age, but thus far I haven't hit that limit yet. My event, as you know, I go on stage. I do 18 to 20 miles on the first day, and I do 26 miles. I'm on from 8 in the morning to 1 a.m. with a 1 hour break. People can vote with their feet. Oprah says to me, Tony, she's, I love you, but I can't sit anywhere for 2 hours. And then she's standing on a couch at the end on camera. This is one of the greatest experiences of my life. Usher, same thing. He goes, Tony, I can't go anywhere for a day. And 4 days later, it's like, these incredible people sitting still, right? It's like, remember I said emotion comes from motion? And also, a minute feels like an eternity when you don't like what you're doing. I am hungry. I think what it is I think everybody is born with hunger. Like there's a desire to grow, to expand, to learn, and then disappointment sets in early in life for most people. And then we look to blame something outside of ourselves. And there are many events in our lives that can affect us all. We've all had pain and challenges. But I think if you can find within yourself the part of you that wants to constantly give something more than yourself, if you can find a mission larger than yourself, then you're more pulled to do something than trying to push yourself. And pull has much more power than push. Focus equals power. If you want to thrive, you got to focus on what you can control. You got to focus on the difference you can make. You got to focus on what's already in your life that you're grateful for. And I have a little process here at the end that's my gift to you, which is just a simple ritual that can bring you back to this place. So one thing that leaders do is they focus on the things they want, they focus on what they can control, they focus on what they have a combination of gratitude, strength, and commitment. They've really unleashed the second element. They have a vision. They have something that they're after, something they want to create, something they want to contribute, something they want to give, something they want to make happen. And that's when you become a creator again instead of a manager of life. And what touches me most about Mark is his commitment to really find a way to add value. We all know in this room, there's only one way you succeed long term. Anybody can get lucky, do something for a period of time. But real success in any measure whatsoever comes when you do more for others than anybody else. There's no other way to do it. You find a way to add more what? Value. And if we find the way to add more value, we can be superior in the marketplace, but we can also be superior in our own lives. We can enjoy our lives at a different level. We have a different set of pride that isn't fake, it's not ego. Ego is when you try to make it better than it is, and you know the truth is it's not. But when you really are in a position, when you're in a position where you own what you're about, and you know what you're to deliver, and you deliver it on a significant scale, then you have an opportunity to really experience not only success, but fulfillment. And this conference has gotten bigger and bigger, not only in its size, but also in its impact. And so I really feel privileged to be back with you here. And I know you're working to raise 1 million meals, and I'm very, very into hunger, to say the least, primarily because I was so hungry at a stage of my life. So that's why I'm here, and I want to now make sure in the time that you're here, let's kick this in gear, and let's talk about 3 things that can truly change the quality of your life. Number 1, first of all, if you make new decisions about to focus on, try this just for a moment. Just for a second, take a deep breath in. Exhale and give it a moan. That was really pathetic. Let's try that again. Deep breath in, then make it a sexual moan and thoroughly enjoy it. Oh, that was much longer and deeper. I like that. That was good. One more time. Use deep breath in and give it a moan. Now, one of the things that I want to talk to you about here tonight, this afternoon, is really simple. And that is, everyone here is in business, and there's a problem that all businesses have. We're in the most competitive environment we've ever been in. We went from, 500 million people being online to a couple billion people being online. And in the next 4 years, they're saying we're going to have 3 billion more online.
You know, Maya Angelou has been my most steadfast counselor for my entire life. I discovered her probably 30 years ago when I was in college. And I lean into her work. You know how when you find those people that just are unsparing and honest in their work, but they also bring you joy and comfort? She's that for me. And I love everything she does except for that quote. That quote has pissed me off for decades. And I never understood this idea that you're free when you belong nowhere. And as a social scientist, I know that belonging, I know this for sure. Like if you ask me the one thing I know for sure, 200,000 pieces of data. I know in the absence of love and belonging, there's always suffering. That I know for sure. So this quote from her about belonging everywhere, which is really nowhere, is what sets us free, was so troubling to me. But then I started digging in and I started trying to understand, what does it mean to belong? And I never thought of the concept of belonging. I thought belonging was like, we have a crew.
Yeah. Like a posse or
yeah,
a
we have
squad.
a squad.
Yeah.
And belonging is something you kind of negotiate with external groups of people. But it's not. What I found very quickly is the rest of that actual quote is part of an interview that she did, where she ended up with Bill Moyers, where she ends up saying, you know, he ends up pushing a little bit on and saying, so are you saying that you belong nowhere and to no one? And she said, I belong to Maya. And what I found is that true belonging is a spiritual practice. And it's about the ability to find sacredness in both being a part of something, but also the courage to stand alone. And the people, for those of us who struggle to have the courage to stand alone, especially when we know that we're risking that sense of being a part of something because we disagree.
Yes.
Because we have a different opinion, because we love something different. That's the mark of true belonging, to be able to say, yes, I am a part of something bigger, but I also will stand alone when I need to. And then it was like, oh, you belong everywhere and nowhere. And that is liberation.
We lie to ourselves. We don't tell ourselves the way things really are. And when we do that, then we can't fix our problems. If we can't fix our problems, we're not going to improve. So we have to be truthful to ourselves. I have to be truthful to myself. You have to be truthful to yourself. You have to stop rationalizing, stop making excuses, stop telling yourself little watered down assessments of where you're really at. Tell yourself the truth, so that you can get where you want to go. You can be who you want to be. You can be who you should be. Who you should be when you do what you know you should do, when you pay attention to the little things, when you implement discipline, true and unflinching and unmitigated discipline in your life, when you stop trying to find a sweatless solution, when you look for weaknesses to work on, when you allow no easy excuses. And all that starts when you stop lying to yourself. When you stop lying to yourself, that's when you can become who you know you should be. When you tell yourself the truth about where you are, so you can make sure you are in the right place. And if you're not in the right place, then you can get yourself on the path to get there. The path of discipline, the path of hard work, and the path of truth.
I just can't explain to everybody like clearer, when you figure out who you are and do all that, you win. If you're great at painting, paint and hire a partner to be your salesperson. If somebody at 20 years old made me their business partner as a painter, they'd be the most famous painter in the world. Yet, most painters want to be the salesman and businessmen and women as well as the painter, and there's a problem. 85% of painting, 90% of people that are great at painting are artists and don't have the DNA to sell, and vice versa. All my sales friends and business friends that want to start all these businesses around something creative, I have bad news for you, Joel. You know, you can be a great salesman, but your pottery sucks. And so that's that. So like, and it's, that's a very funny analogy for the following. Figure out who you are, don't apologize for who you are, and then become even greater than you naturally are at what you are.
I think too many people give a shit what other people think about it as well.
Well, that's the whole game's broken because everybody's too tied up into other people's opinions. I only care about my opinion of myself. And I care what my mom and wife and kids and the world think, just not as much as I care about the way I think about myself. And that's it, just that slight advantage. And I think most of you care more about what other people think than what you think about yourself, and or you actually don't feel good about yourself, right? The thing that made me smile, when you just introduced me, you said, I'm one of the most motivational people in the world, comma, and everybody I know that's met him said he's the nicest guy. There's no comparison to the better feeling of people that have actually gotten to know me say that versus millions, hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands thinking I'm the coolest. And that's it. I mean, that's it. And that's why it's easy for me to feel good about myself, right? And so I think a lot of people need to start with themselves. Maybe the reason they don't have more confidence in themselves or care about their opinion about themselves versus others is because they know they're doing things they don't like. So they need to work on that. I get offered and emailed 5,000 different requests for podcasts and shows, and what I think my friend here, let's see his name, Evan, Evan Carmichael introduced me to Bo. What Bo has figured out is time is the asset, and so if you want Kevin Hart or The Rock or Beyonce or Ja Rule or Richard Branson or Tony Hsieh or Sheryl Sandberg on your podcast, maybe you should start the 120-second podcast. And then you gotta be creative and try to figure out how you get, maybe you create the one question video show. That's it, the whole show's one question. Promise you, a lot of people that you want as guests, if they see in the headline, I just need 4 minutes of your time for the one question show, a lot more are gonna say yes than, can you be on my podcast for an hour and a half?